I would like to call the May 4th, 2023 Park Board meeting to order at 6:02 p.m. Please rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hope if we can get the roll call, please.
Okay, Mr. Markford?
Present.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Present.
Ms. Miller? Present. Mr. Holstein?
Present.
Ms. Sheben? Here. Mr. Salatis?
Present.
Okay. Ms. Sandberg is absent. Mr. Austin?
Present.
I am present, and the record rules reflect that Mr. Sharp and Mr. Miller are in attendance.
Okay, so noted. Okay, so to start the meeting under presentation, we would like to take this opportunity to introduce our new Parks and Recreation Superintendent, Melinda Butler.
Yeah,
Melinda?
hey, Melinda.
Why don't you come on up and introduce yourself?
Like there?
Just like before. This time you're introducing yourself, not applying for a job.
You got the job.
It's a long walk.
Tell the community a little bit about yourself, who you are, and
Kind of awkward. I usually kind of face them.
Hi, everybody. I'm Mindy Buckler. I am the park superintendent over here. Parks and Rec has been my love. I started at 16 volunteering for the Muscular Dystrophy Association. I saw it on the Jerry Lewis telethon. Made me fall in love with Parks and Rec. I volunteered a whole week of my life at their camp, helping all abled children. Fell in love with Parks and Rec, started working in my local parks department, which was Lowell, moved my way up, ventured over to North Lake County for a couple of years, ran a golf course, a splash pad, and a very active veterans park. Saw you guys were growing, thought I was the good person for the job, as I was excited to have a new board instilled in the community that really, really wants Parks and Rec, and I'm here now, so thank you. Any questions?
no, but you know what, can we get a picture of her? Maybe we'll introduce her via the newsletter, and actually, I don't know that we did the same for Hope. We never did that, did we?
My picture was already in there, that's good.
Hope's in there. All right, maybe a picture of the board with Melinda and...
Say, you guys wanna come?
Yeah, that'd be cool. Let's go on down and do that. You gotta stay there, Melinda, we're coming to you. And I'm gonna bounce back and forth between Melinda and Mindy for probably like 6 months. I know you don't care about either.
Mindy's the nickname. I forgot to say that. Mindy's fine.
Making sure, so, boy, everything.
I'm still the smallest.
Here. We'll do this like 2 at a time. There you go.
Yeah. That should be good. All right, say Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec.
Perfect. For my wife, if I don't take them 2 ways.
Good.
Thank you, Chris.
You're welcome.
Where's your arm? Okay, way better, like, way better.
And before we move on, I will say I think as a board, we've already felt like we chose the right individual. Mindy and myself have spent about 8 hours together between Monday and today, between touring parks and kind of brainstorming, and I think we definitely have the right person. I'm very excited to see what we can do now that we have our team assembled. So a lot of positive energy in a total of 8 hours time together, and I think it's just going to get better from there. So I would like to amend the agenda and add 2 items, one under old business, we'll call it item number 5, Lakeside Artist Guild discussion. And I spoke to Hope about this. Under reports, we're gonna have an item 3 for project updates. We're gonna bring that back. So those are the 2 amendments to the agenda. Under the consent agenda, we have the minutes of the April 6th meeting, claims, Parks and Rec General Fund, $13,586.07. Parks and Rec Non-Reverting Fund, $3,536.57, and the Clubhouse Non-Reverting Fund at $1,777.08, for total expenditures of $18,899.72. And then donations, in-kind donations of $35 from Greg Marquardt for the Chamber of Commerce Business Showcase on April 22nd for table and chair rental and candy. What's the board's pleasure?
I'll motion to approve.
Okay, I have a motion from Paul.
I'll second.
I have a second from Sarah. Hope?
Mr. Markwart?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Ms. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Holstein?
Yes. Okay, item number 1, old business, consider garden landscaping project at Park of the Red Cedars Town Complex, Lakefront, Bartlett Wahlberg Park, and North Park. Sarah, I'm gonna let you drive through this one.
Sure. So, these are the first revisions to the original. It's a multifaceted approach. We want to bring beautification to the 3 parks by the lake, as well as mitigate the geese from defecating all over the place. And this is the drawings that JMA came up with. I think it's very appealing to the eye. So from here, we would just need council to review and make sure that they approve of the general idea on locations.
Okay, so at this point, we're looking to approve the concepts as submitted by JMA, but we still don't have pricing on anything at this point, correct?
Right, we're not even
Okay.
going to pursue quotes until we know what's permissible and
Okay,
get some feedback.
I will say the long grass to deter geese was my excuse for why I haven't mowed the grass lately. I was trying to protect geese, so I learned something from this. Okay, so at this point, we're looking for a motion to or I guess it'd be make a recommendation to council to approve the designs as submitted by JMA, correct?
Yes,
Okay, can I get a motion for that, please?
I'll give a motion to send a favorable recommendation to the council.
Okay, I have a
I'll
motion.
second it.
Okay, I have a second from Greg. Any further discussion?
No, the only thing I'll just say is, since we have, no one can really see the drawings, is the theme we're going for is the rope fence and some hedge garden, just keep a barrier, make sure geese don't defecate, also add some beautification in the parks. So I think it's gonna look real nice, and it's gonna keep a nice clean theme from park to park in all of our lakeside parks. So I think it's gonna end up looking really nice, depending on cost, obviously, but.
Sure. And then the butterfly garden at Bartlett Wahlberg, that was a collaboration with the Girl Scouts, correct?
Yeah, so we wanted to bring butterfly pollinator gardens somewhere anyway, but they approached us saying that they would like to do a project like this, and they gave us a vision for the shape of the bed, butterfly shaped, and pretty cool. So we're looking into details for that.
Okay, awesome. Okay, any further discussion amongst the board? Okay, Hope?
All right, Mr. Markwart?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Ms. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Holstein?
Yes. Okay, item number 2, it's my favorite part of being park board president. We need to award the porta potty company for porta potties at Bartlett Wahlberg Park. We have 2 quotes. We have Premier Porta Potty, who we've used for the previous couple of years now, and Service Sanitation. So the per 28-day cycle cost is $115 with Premier Porta Potty. And service sanitation is $175. I know Tim's not here, and last time he was a wealth of information on our relationship with them, but we've had no complaints or no issues with Premier. So Premier appears to be the less expensive, and we have a relationship with them. But what is the board's pleasure?
I'll motion to approve the quote from Premier Porta Potty.
I'll second that.
Motion from Paul, second from Greg. Hope?
Mr. Markwart?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Ms. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Holste?
Yes? Okay, item number 3, we have consider Midwest Training and Ice to waive registration fee for Cedar Lake residents. Hope, if you want to explain this a little bit?
They're just looking to put in our newsletter that, Cedar Lake residents will get their, introductory fee waived if they just let them know that they're Cedar Lake residents. So there is a letter that she sent by email. I did not get a policy from her, so.
So if I read the letter, Hope, it seems like they said, that they're just basically gonna add a drop down for individuals to select Cedar Lake Parks Department when they register, and that's how they get the fee waived. If I remember right, this was kind of a thing of the past pre-pandemic,
Yeah.
so this isn't necessarily out of the ordinary, it just hasn't been revitalized, correct?
Right. Mhm.
Okay, so no cost to us, it's a little bit of a discount for our residents if they choose to go to Midwest Ice and Training Center
Right.
for any of their programming, correct?
Right. Yeah.
Okay, what's the board's pleasure?
I'll motion to approve.
Okay, motion by Paul.
I'll second it.
Okay, second by Greg. Hope?
Okay, Mr. Markwart?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Ms. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Holste?
Yes. Okay. Item number 4, consider bid award approval for parks projects. So this goes back to our bathrooms and pavilions from Sumac. We only received one bid, and it was $1.1 million for 4 pavilions, 2 bathrooms. Part of that was omitting the well. The bid that was submitted by Gary Up omitted the well, and there was something else it omitted.
The one that really stands out is the well.
Yeah, the well, there was one other thing that Sumac had identified. So just to kind of further elaborate, I had asked Mr. O'Malley to reach out to the other companies that had picked up bid packets, and I had asked him if it would be appropriate to reach out to them and find out why they didn't turn them in. So he did. One company cited the bond. They didn't want to bond for what they felt was that small of a project. They also claimed they were busy. The other company claimed that during the process from opening of the bid to the close, they had people out with sickness and vacation, and they just weren't able to turn theirs in. So we had one from Gary Up, and I am very alarmed at the overall price. Not that it's not fair, but it would have been really nice to have another bid or two to reference to really get a feel for. I mean, I'm not a contractor, I'm not a construction person, I barely can fix my fence at home, so I have no bearing of what's responsible and what's fair and what's proper. The pavilions were almost as much as my house per pavilion, like, just a lot of things that made myself feel uncomfortable. In discussion with Mr. Salatas, I think where we're leaning towards is separating the pavilions from the professional bid and maybe looking at kits that Public Works can assemble to get the pavilions as promised. And considering the contractor for the fixed bathroom structures, because I think that's probably above Public Works' ability. In a loose look, it does appear that pavilion kits that Public Works constructs saves us an ample amount of money. And again, I speak on behalf of myself, and the board members can speak on their behalf too, but $1.1 million just doesn't sit right with me. It doesn't seem like it's responsible. I think we can invest that into other projects, and I'm just not game on jumping on the only bidder. So that's my sense, or my 2 cents. So I guess before we get to further discussion, we have to decide what we're gonna do here. There was also discussion of the fact that the bid was incomplete. Mr. Austin, do you have any thoughts on the incomplete bid or anything we've been kind of talking about?
Incomplete disqualifies them, in my opinion.
Okay. Okay, so that makes it even easier.
Makes sense.
So I would assume that the next step would be, we would have to rebid for the bathroom structures, correct? So we would have to,
Well, maybe not.
okay,
I mean, you got bids that came in that were, one, non-responsive and no other bids. This is the second time we've done this, isn't it?
Yes. Correct.
So we're about to go to try 3. Title V of the Indiana Code permits you to go and solicit specifically contractors in the specialty or the type of work and negotiate and obtain a proper bid or a proper pricing or a more appropriate pricing. We all know, I think everybody here concurs, and I see the heads nodding, it's outrageous. The number was outrageous. So, go to Plan B, and Plan B speeds it up. Maybe our citizens will have amenities this summer.
which is our hope. I mean, it just was very alarming to me. I mean, $1.1 million, I mean, I'm like signing a baseball player. I've never done anything like that in my life, and it just didn't seem responsible.
So, well, actually, be fair to the contractor here for a second. They, if you wanted them to do it, they'd do it.
Sure.
That's their price, you know, and Garrett's a big company, been around for 100 years. They do big jobs, do quality jobs, they have a good reputation, generally speaking, in their world. So, they didn't really want the job. That's what 1.1 million says. And that leaves open for us, since nobody else wanted the job, the opportunity to use the law to your advantage and to our taxpayers' advantage.
Absolutely. Okay.
And if you do that, we just need to make a little bit of record here, so we have it on file, in public, everybody knows it. You know, there are no problems with transparency.
Absolutely. So then oh, I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, based on Dave's recommendation, I completely concur. Maybe it would be a good idea to have myself and Tim Kubiak and new park superintendent to get together, skinny up what we need as far as just the bathroom structures and solicit those quotes for those structures.
I would suggest that you also reject the bid and any paper you receive. Half prepared, completely prepared, whatever. Reject everything tendered so you can take the next step based upon what happened.
Okay. Okay, so then, board, I am looking for a motion to reject the bid that was submitted by Garia to be able to move forward with the next steps to try to get the citizens some amenities this year.
I will make a motion to reject that bid from Garia.
Okay, very good. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, hearing none. Hope?
Mr. Marquardt?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Ms. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Holstein?
Yes. Okay. Item number 5 in the old business is, kind of a continuation from our presentation previous meeting and,
I'm sorry, Dale.
oh, sorry, sir.
You moved so smoothly into that, I didn't get in the way. You also want to give directions to the superintendent, the town manager, and your staff to put together a recommendation for your next meeting on the handling of, as Chris has suggested.
Okay.
The next step, that would be appropriate on a public record.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so, Chris, if you and Melinda and Mr. Kubiak, and if you want a board member involved to start, putting this back together so that we can move with pavilions and bathrooms, and, let us know where you're at next meeting, that'd be great.
Okay, can do.
Okay, thank you.
If, I'm sorry.
Nope, go ahead.
Sorry, miss a meeting, that's what happens. If Chris and crew get this done inside of the next time you meet, special meeting could be appropriate to get that ball rolling, and especially since we control our own staff. If you gave an approval on a package that was presented to you, they could start, well, right away,
Sure, sure.
so.
Okay. All right, well, obviously, we'll try to put that together if that's where we're at. So, we're all pretty flexible, we can make that happen.
Perfect.
Cool. All right, item number 5, old business, Lakeside Artists Guild. Board, council, Mr. Austin, I have, printed and had dispersed to you, Mr. Andy Anderson's proposal that he disperses amongst, the community for sponsorship, so on and so forth, for his event. Actually, it's not event, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 events. Andy has brought an amazing, gift to our community, very talented musicians. I've found myself listening to more classical music and different types of music as a result of it, but I can never remember that song, Andy, I always have to ask you.
Lark Ascending.
That one, yep, I like that one a lot. I just can't remember the name. Anyway, Andy and I have had multiple conversations. You know, he has a beautiful, lineup coming up for the summer. So Andy's full season sponsorship, if someone wanted to pay for the whole thing for Lakeside Artists Guild, would be $16,275, and that's what gets him his musicians, his sound engineer, ground rental officer, insurance, the whole thing as listed in this packet. Andy and I have had multiple phone calls over the last couple of months discussing how can we partner up with their organization that's bringing amazing music and evenings to the town. I find them to be fantastic. So after toying around with a lot of ideas, what I've come up with, working with Chris and actually Mindy today, I would like the board to take consideration into assisting Andy so that he can bring the quality of the musicians that he wants, the quantity and the event he wants to provide our community. I would like to see us consider a recommendation to the council for a special event permit for his events, up to the 7. Lakeside Artists Guild would still provide the funds for the security. Mr. Anderson would provide the insurance policy, meeting the town's requirements of $1 million insurance policy with the town named as he has in the past. And then what we would like to do is maybe August, September, we'll get with legal and we can start working on a 2024 contract to formalize some of this a little bit better, with hopeful completion by like October, so that we can be ready to go for the following year and we're not trying to put this together. As you can tell, it's a very diverse amount of events. Andy's put a lot of research into this, including Brazilian guitar player, we have a brass quintet, the Beatles, swing dance, the Made in America show is fantastic, I really enjoyed that one. So, you know, Andy has made it very well known over and over that he wants to make Cedar Lake base camp for the Lakeside Artists Guild. I think it delivers a beautiful evening for our residents, and I think that, we need to continue to work with such an individual and an organization, so. So again, I'm looking for a favorable recommendation to the council to allow special event permit up to the 7 events. And then, as I said, they're providing the insurance, they're covering the security, and then we would work on a contract to be settled by October next year.
And what's the exact cost per event
So.
to us, to the park?
So we would be, so the special event permit would be $25 to the Lakeside Artists Guild. We actually would not be.
So it's a reduced cost?
It would be a reduced cost, so, Lakeside Artists Guild would be paying $125 event instead of $350. So that would be the $100 for security, the $25 for the special event permit. So, you know, we're working with, you know, we're trying to provide different items to this community. It's, you know, to me, it's a no-brainer, but that's just my opinion.
Well, it seemed to be a good addition last year, and I think it's gonna be a great addition this year.
And I really love the diversified topics that it's going to have theme-wise. I think this would be a smart move.
And in our 2-hour conversation today, Mindy and I already talked about how to, you know, make this even better for the town, you know, down the road. Maybe it motivates us to revitalize the concession stand and, you know, do some cool things with that. And, like I said, I'll be very honest. I've told Andy from the get-go, I'll be your biggest cheerleader, because I really appreciate what they bring to the community every year, so. So, looking for a motion for a favorable recommendation.
I'll motion for a favorable recommendation of the town council for up to seven events to the Lakeside Artists Guild at a special event permit price of $25.
Okay, can I get a second?
I'll second that.
Any further discussion?
Sure.
Sir?
So we've got all these details written down. We have an idea how this permit's gonna come together. It's an outline. Is there anything? Because in 2 weeks, when the town council meets to consider this recommendation, they're gonna ask him what the deal is.
Sure. So this was kind of a 11th hour thing today, as far as what the final proposal would look like. I'll be more than happy to draft something and present it to Chris for the council meeting, for their review.
Could I interject something here?
Yeah?
My idea would be to have the events. My idea would be for you guys to put the events together to do it. You're contracting with him to do the performance. Am I making any sense? That this is a parks function, he is donating his services. He's gonna go out and raise the money for you, he's gonna do the performance for you. That way we're not opening the door for somebody else to come and say, you gave it away. This way, he's a partner with you. Dave, am I talking out of both sides of my
No,
mouth?
I mean, that's why I asked about details.
Sure.
Because we have an intense use activity on our municipal complex, right? Anybody who lives here knows, Summerfest, Labor Day, various events after alternating Wednesday night farmers markets. You also know, and we are well aware that we have a construction project beginning up there. We also know that we have other events that occur, not to the intensity of or duration of these kinds of programs, but Moto on Ice, for example, in the winter. We have, over time, developed pretty decent agreements and understandings that are fairly uniform, so folks pretty much know. If Summerfest comes in and sits down with Chris, there's a baseline. Everybody knows that baseline because we kind of work off of it, subject to review and updates for insurance, correction of circumstances happening in the previous year's events, just the stuff that's due diligence in nature. And that's why I asked you, Dale, about, floating around in your head, it's coalescing there. We don't really have it yet, number one. And number two, how does that match or compare to what we've spent a couple decades getting to with how this is used?
Mhm.
So,
I guess my thought is he lays out extensively how much money he's fundraising as it is to put this program on without the grounds rental and the officer. We're talking, my math was, I was calculating at 6, but at 7 events, we're talking $2,400. 7 events, I think we're talking $2,400 out of, and I understand. I understand what you're saying. I guess my concern, or not my concern, but my thought is this is a win-win for the community in that we're getting quality entertainment at 6 of 7 events, for actually less than the price, just over the price tag of what the chamber was paying for one event with the symphony. I understand what you're saying. I just don't know what the solution is before June 11th that he's ready to get going. So I'm open to.
I'm a lot less concerned about his schedule than I am ours and getting it right. I'm the town's attorney.
Understood.
And it's in that context that I'm talking to you and responding to Ralph, our councilman, who asked that question.
Sure.
And Ralph, I did get it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's more to the picture, bigger picture than just this event and or program for our county. I don't know, the 3 of them are here, ask them.
Sure.
I think it's fair, and we should talk about it.
Yeah, well, I think our concern was that they were asking us to waive the fees for the property,
Mhm.
and we're worried because the bottom line is a lot of people use the property and they're all paying the fees.
Mhm.
And if we waive it, it's opening Pandora's box. So I think Ralph's idea was if there was a way to partnership it where it's through you guys and there aren't fees maybe, but coming to the town council and us waiving the fees doesn't really make sense. We did it once for the clubhouse and we're regretting it. So, we had allowed somebody to use it with not paying the fees.
Sure.
And now we have a second group
Sure.
that want the same. So that's one aspect of what we're concerned about right now.
Mhm. And just to be clear, and because Andy's here, that wasn't necessarily their ask as much as just part of the conversation, like what are the avenues that we can
Right.
pursue,
Now, I don't know, if you guys can partner with him and use some of your funds to help him? Is that what you're going at, Ralph?
That it would be a program through the parks.
Well, and that was discussed as well, that we would fund it out of our budget. That was discussed, and I don't remember why that stalled or switched.
We just, circling back to, what we kind of discussed today as opportunities, and forgive us that I kind of came in a little late, but one of my ideas, and I think it's kind of matching up with what the councilman is stating, is maybe we contract him for one of those events that help offset the cost, and it would come out of services, out of the park budget, and it's a win-win. We still get him here. Maybe we essentially pay for one show or part of one show as a contracted service, but the series comes this year, so we have an opportunity to go through, create that policy, and not open Pandora's box to every event wanting to come in here. So instead of using town funds, considering doing this as a contracted service in the tune of the $2,000 as the Parks Department.
Let me double check, just because I'm terrible at this.
Would it be billed as Cedar Lake Parks and Recreation Department present? Is that the way this would work?
I don't know.
My idea would be a sponsorship. It would be we have sponsors for our shows. This would be a sponsorship. It would be sponsored by the Parks Department.
And Andy and I talked about it, I mean, it is the spirit of a Parks and Recreation program to deliver programming and events. And so if we were to cover the 7 events, it would be $2,450 if we were to, however the verbiage is.
Sponsor,
Yeah,
contract.
sponsor, contract, whatever, it would be $2,450. So that's $250 for the venue fee, $100 for the security guard, and then, yeah, so $350 times 7. Yes, I use a calculator, no judging, $2,450. So, and honestly, my initial thought to that months ago was, we've made it known that we have this budget and we're investing it into programming for the community to enjoy at no cost. And again, then the wheels started turning about the concession stand next year, maybe that's how we recoup some of that, through the foundation or however, the non-reverting fund or whatever.
Sure.
So, I am not opposed to that. I don't know, I can't remember amongst all the conversations that have been had where we turned from that.
We can sponsor events, correct, through the budget and how it's set up, and the board has the ability. Is that true, Mr. Austin?
It is. They can
Yeah.
use their budget for programming and we'll continue to do so, I'm sure.
And low cost, I would say, suggest if it feels good to everybody, a sponsorship opportunity this year, till we can reevaluate contracts and partnership.
And Mindy, personally, I would agree with you. Mr. Anderson has put, and Mr. Austin, I totally understand your perspective too. It's bigger than personal feelings. It's about legalities in government and municipalities and so on and so forth.
Even into the weeds a little bit, it's about the grounds, it's about access, it's about parking, or construction, just things that we haven't faced, we're about to, for this summer.
Sure.
Was why one of the suggestions I made to Chris, we talked about this also kind of offline, was let's take this a bite at a time and see how it works, given the conditions that I just described, so.
Yeah. Well, so, like I said, I would be open to funding it this year so we don't lose it, well, I guess I'm just assuming if we don't, we lose it, but I understand that if we don't assist, that might affect how many musicians Mr. Anderson brings, or, whatever, and I want him to be able to deliver to our residents the best that he can, because I think it's an enjoyable thing. People want to get out and do things, and this is utilizing grounds that we don't have people banging on our door to provide these types of events. So, I myself, like I said, I experienced it 2 or 3 shows last year, and I I don't wanna, I wanna see it be successful and get bigger and better, and again, we can sit down for next year and, you know, maybe get ahead of this and get it all laid out a little bit better, but, so I guess we would be at the point of rescinding the motion of the special event permit. So, I guess we'd have to go to Paul, right?
Correct.
Paul initiated the
Yeah.
motion, so Paul, would you be willing to rescind that?
I'll rescind the motion.
Okay,
And I'll make, I think Sarah has to do it, right?
I'll rescind my second.
okay, so then, if I'm correct, we would be looking for a motion to sponsor the $2,450 for the programming with the Lakeside Artists Guild, with a caveat that we would get into some form of a contract discussion, and hopefully maybe have it wrapped up by like October, so that we're good to go for next year. Would that be an acceptable timeline for you, Mr. Austin?
It could be. Our contracts with users, mass users of our facilities are usually year-round.
Okay,
It of course gives time for organization into the next year for the events planned.
okay,
Dale, the other thing, and the board might as well know this, I am certain, without talking with our three councilmen liaison, this will be talked about in terms of volume and size and all of that. All the things we just got done talking about will likely be addressed or considered by our council related to this grounds.
mhm,
Not the programming that you have the right to do, but the grounds and conditions and circumstances.
Andy, do you have a rough idea, attendance per event? I mean, I know it's hard to kind of keep track because you're not charging admission, but do you have a ballpark?
We keep a count.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, we count, because it's a mark of our success if we draw a crowd. When we first started, it was between 150 and 250. Now it's, the last year we did it, the lowest we had was 200, and it went up to 350 in attendance. And last year, every year we've done it, we've asked for a waiver so people could bring their own alcohol into the park, which is why we need the officer.
I mean, does it make sense to just approve the events for June? And then maybe by our next meeting or July meeting, we can have something a little bit more concrete to talk about? I don't know. I'm not sure. How does that sound?
I guess,
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I guess it depends on the sponsorship level and, what that looks like. I don't think we'll be able to get a contract
No.
that quickly. Dave and I are
Mhm.
swamped as it is.
So to Mr. Miller's point, if we were to say, we want to put on a musical event through the parks, and maybe Hope, Mindy collaborating came up with extra food vendors or what have you, then the sponsorship would come into play as discounted music. Is that correct? Or was that beyond?
It's kind of confusing.
So, didn't hear you.
You're trying to offset something with food?
So if we put on a Parks Department event that was music themed and maybe brought food vendors or drink sorts to it, would that be kind of
To offset
in
the
line?
cost?
Yeah, would that be kind of in line with what you were suggesting as far as a parks event with music that,
I would believe the food trucks would have all of their own permits in that.
But doesn't the town charge a fee for those?
yes,
Yes.
percentage?
But that,
They charge them X amount, you know, like for the farmer's market, the food trucks pay a fee to to be at the farmer's market.
It's a vendor's fee.
Yeah.
Right, it's a vendor's fee.
I mean, personally, I like the idea of the parks putting on the program, contracting for free, to have his services come for free, rather than just giving the money for him to then just pay us, pay for a rental of our facility. I think it seems cleaner. Because really, that's all we're doing is just contracting with them to come here and play, and play for free.
We're providing 7 events over the summer for a low price, actually, if you really think about it. You get 7 concerts for $2,200.
Because really then,
that's like the deal of the day.
in that situation, we would just be paying funds from the parks budget to the town, or the grounds rental.
It would go to the miscellaneous revenues of the town, which then goes back into
It's
the
just
town general fund, which is where Parks Department's paid.
Yeah, so it's basically just a paper transaction.
It's a paper transaction.
Yeah, and then he's just coming and providing his
Putting
services
it
for
through
free.
you guys, so it's not coming into council for,
Yeah,
us giving you free rent.
yeah, and I'd rather do that than, give the money to him to just pay back to us. Yeah.
Andy, did you have something to say?
Well, I was just, if it solves a problem for you to budget, the same way you do for flowers in the parks, the same way you do for parks improvements, we're gonna have a music budget. And a portion of it might be spent to become a sponsor, our season sponsor for a venue sponsor. If that solves the problem of anybody who wants to have their band play here, they're asking for a special deal, then that probably is the way it should go to satisfy the law and make sure that it's a level playing field. Like, you guys are looking to put music on, you have a budget for it, here's something that is presented, and you say, yes, we're gonna use this that's already put together to satisfy that. I think the problem this year is that there just wasn't enough time, like, ahead of it. Like, we have a lot of new people that are put into place, and so a lot of these things to go through the right mechanism, there wasn't the time from the time we got everyone in place. Because I put that document up, I think, over a month ago. And I look forward to working with everyone in the future. If you can find a way to spare me an extra $2,400 of fundraising, it makes a huge difference. I know that doesn't seem like a ridiculous amount of money, but it is actually it's a hard thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's your personnel cost for one event and then some.
Yeah.
Based off what you billed here. Yeah, in most applications. So Paul, what are you?
I think the parks just puts on the show. We pay the general fund for the rental fee, it's a paper transaction, there's no money going to him, which he's gonna pay back to us anyways. And then he just comes and plays for free, so we're contracting with him,
Now, Dave, do we have to have money change hands? Or since this is a parks event,
there's no fees.
Parks event doesn't need money in hand. And if there is money, they can pay for it out of your program.
Yeah.
Your line item.
Yeah.
no, what I was getting at was, can they go in and say, we want the park on such and such a day because we're having a parks event? If we were having a hula hoop contest out here that the Parks Department was putting on, we wouldn't go in and pay a fee to have the hula hoop contest.
Right.
It's no different than if we have the painting class and we have the instructor come.
Yeah, that's what I'm
It's
getting at
only through
is,
you guys, it's
Yeah,
not
it's
really
just-
through the
yeah.
town, it's through the Parks Department.
Yeah.
The only difference is that there's a volume to this. that takes a certain amount of space and resource and the proposal for the town grounds. You know, and the items you mentioned, you're absolutely right. The clubhouse and, you know, various types of programming activities we have, classroom style or otherwise. It's all self-contained. This is different, in that sense, to the lawyer at least.
Sure. I mean, I guess in my head, I think the farmer's market puts more of a demand on our resources.
Huge.
Right.
It's huge.
So, I understand, at least I think I understand. I'm not always the best at interpreting law, but I'm gonna say that I understand where you're coming from and your concern, but we are letting the farmer's market continue, and we are
But they're paying a fee.
okay.
You know,
They are.
You know, that's the,
Yeah,
And I commented on that, on one of the letters last month, or communications.
yeah,
About consideration.
yeah,
That's what money is.
yeah. Well, again, I guess I'll leave it to what is the board's pleasure. How do you want to proceed with this?
I would like to proceed.
Yeah, I mean, I think we proceed as it being a parks event,
Correct.
and we just contract with the Lakeside Artists Guild.
And, you know, as far as working on next year with Mr. Austin, if October's too tight of a timeline, that's fine, but, you know, whatever we have to do to, make this more pleasing to the lawyer, or the town, or to us, or to whomever, let's get that on the books and, you know, so that
It doesn't
we're,
need to be pleasing to the lawyer, it just needs to be right and consistent with what we do here.
absolutely.
And one of those things we've done for 30-plus years,
Mhm.
so.
Understood.
All right.
Okay, so can I get that in the form of a motion, please?
I'll motion, to, post this as a parks event and contract with the Lakeside Artists Guild for up to 7 events this year.
Okay, so then that amount would be $2,450.
Well, there wouldn't be fees for us though, right?
But that's what we've come to, right?
At least so.
Yeah, there's no fees for us because it's just a parks event,
Okay,
so we're just contracting with him.
okay,
Yep.
okay. Can I get a second for that, please?
I will absolutely second that.
Okay, can I get any further, or, I mean, I guess I can, but any further discussion? Okay, Hope?
Okay, Mr. Markwart,
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Ms. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Holste.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
one more item, please.
Sir?
And this is to my council. Are there gonna be any issues that you will raise or discuss with your colleagues about the number of events, the town grounds, the relationship of number of events in town grounds, or anything else?
I don't think so, I haven't seen the dates yet.
Do we not have a copy of the dates for
So
you?
the dates are right on here.
This is what's easier, you know, watch this.
Yeah.
Nicer look at it.
thank you.
Forgive me, counsel, I thought you had that.
I probably do, I just.
Do you guys want these? These are a little
Oh, yeah,
more
definitely.
summarized,
Sure, Andy.
so it's- Interesting stuff. There you go. That's easier to look at summary.
Colleen, specifically to Labor Day, we have it on the 2nd, so the Saturday.
Saturday, perfect.
Yep. The July one is the 9th, so we're after Summerfest.
The only thing though we probably are gonna be already set up for Labor Day Fest, we set up the day before.
Right.
So I don't know
6:30.
where he's at, can't interfere where.
No, and that's what we did last year. We worked
Yeah.
within those constraints to make sure that it was okay.
But they had a fireman's ball last year and left the tents up, left the fences up. That's not happening this year. So they may be out there installing tents and putting fences up and things like that.
Last year there was, I mean, point taken.
That's all.
Absolutely, point taken. And Andy and I talked about that last year, you know, that there might be things occurring and
Yeah,
we
just
were.
because, like I said, last year, the last couple of years, they've left all their stuff up for us to use. They're not having a fireman's ball this year.
Okay,
So none of that will previously be up, so
sure.
there could be people putting fences up and putting tents up. and-
Probably not at 6:30 at night, though.
Hard to say, I don't know, but it was coming in, setting up, I don't know what time.
Is there a
So
way
that's
to-
all, I'm just letting you know.
Okay.
Chris, do we know the end date for the lease terms to Summerfest? It says Sunday, July 9th.
I don't have it off the top of my head, but I can verify to make sure.
I thought they went through that date.
I,
Okay.
First through the 9th or 30th of June to the 9th.
Oh, you mean for the contract day?
Yeah, for the
yeah,
summer
I understand what
contract.
you're saying, for the.
I checked it with Margaret.
In the contract, and
Okay.
we don't have it here in front of us, but I just wanna make sure we know.
I do have a memo to the second. July 7th. July 7th is their end date.
The 7th? Okay. When's the end of the event?
Fourth or fifth, I think, Chris?
4th.
Yeah.
June 30th to the 4th, with the right to schedule from the 23rd of June through the 7th of July.
Okay.
Andy, if I have to go out there personally and pick up some stuff to help you along on the 9th, I'll be there.
I'm not worried about it.
Okay. I've picked up trash before.
I hope you do a lot of advertising.
We're working on it. I'm a musician by trade, so I know there's people out there that are better at advertising than I am, but.
Well, it's a parks event, so we'll advertise it
Right, we'll put
like we
stuff
would
on our.
advertise any other event.
Sure.
Mhm.
That's great.
Okay. Moving,
Doing the roll call on
I'm
that?
sorry, did we?
Oh, we already.
We already did
Did,
one.
okay.
Item number 1 in new business, approval to purchase AED defibrillator for the clubhouse and soccer season. Board, at this point, Mindy and I had a conversation. She is familiar with, some grants to perhaps get us some AEDs. For just background and transparency, obviously my background in public safety, we have a public building, the clubhouse, that we rent out, and we have events there. What I would like to ultimately see at the clubhouse is a cabinet AED that is stored, and we have cameras in there. Again, the first responder in me twitches on this a little bit, and early access is one of the most important things. So, the clubhouse, like I said, we're renting it. I'd like to see us get one there. You can get real fancy with those where the cabinet's tied into the 911 system. I don't even know what that looks like. That if it's opened, I think it can automatically place a 911 call. I know that exists other places, but we don't have to go that crazy. I just would like it there. And then the other thought is, when Hope is out at the soccer field or staff is out at the soccer field on a Saturday or we're at other venues, it's just kind of something that, Hope is first aid CPR certified, and I'd like to have it with her when we're out and about. I think it's just a better look. I think we look safer, more responsible. Originally, I was really antsy to just get this going, but we do have the one in Town Hall that I spoke to Chris about, Hope being able to use when needed, and that's not an issue. So it pacifies me a little bit but I really do wanna see one in the clubhouse, so, ultimately, board, I would just like to defer this to the, God, it's already coming into June, the June meeting.
To be honest, this is such a, it does, $1,800, it does seem like a lot of money, but this just fall under the threshold where
She
she
can
will have
just
the
do it.
authorization.
See, we're not used to having a Melinda yet.
There will be some changes with the park superintendent in place now.
We don't have to make motions on chocolate bunnies anymore?
You don't have to.
All right.
It was fun.
Depends on how many fail.
Yeah. We start getting into like tens of thousands of dollars in chocolate bunnies.
Chocolate
Yeah.
bunnies, yes.
All right. So, in conversation with Melinda, she achieved, or acquired rather, a couple AEDs when she worked for Lowell. And we've spoke about her pursuing that, so that's kind of her task, so we're hoping she's successful, but, again, the clubhouse is just a big thing for me. Every public building should have one, so
Definitely.
I wanna get one in the clubhouse, ASAP. So, can I get so I don't need a motion to defer, just no action, right?
No actions, items, dies, you could take
Take it off the agenda.
yeah.
There it goes. I just did. Item number 2, again, this is kind of a continuation from the previous meeting, and again, through great conversation with Mindy, I think we're gonna probably let this one sit as well. Authorization to purchase ADA swings for parks out of capital improvement fund. Mindy and I took about a half a field trip with Mr. Marquardt, and we looked at some of our existing parks, let her kind of process what we have and so on and so forth. We have heard from a few citizens about the lack of ADA equipment available to individuals in this community. We do not want to ignore it, but we also don't want to just start spending money if it doesn't make sense. So, while a comprehensive master plan for the Parks and Recreation Department is in the works, we have someone who's worked in Parks and Recreation for a very long time, AKA Mindy, who is going to kind of assess things, and we're going to figure out how we can do that, where we can do that. There's also grants for ADA accessibility. But just in case one of the families that reached out is listening, we are aware we want to address this. We want to address this properly and not off the hip. I'm still disappointed in my blue mulch because I was really excited about that blue mulch, but really we might start focusing on at least getting a couple parks the foam padding, so those that are wheelchair bound or, grandma's on a walker and she wants to go by the swing with her grandchildren can do so. Again, this one can probably die where it's at, and Mindy's on it. So, again, just another wonderful reason to have a Mindy, and she's got plenty to do. Moving on to reports, we have the clerk treasurer's fund report, which was submitted. Chris, did you want to go over that at all, or is there anything to go over aside of?
It's just for the docket, that, Jennifer provided, the Parks and Rec General Fund, you had $13,586.07. Spent out of there, you have nothing spent out of the Park Impact Fee Fund at this time for this, docket report. Parks and Rec Non-Reverting Fund of $3,536.57, and the Clubhouse Non-Reverting Fund of $1,777.08, for a total expenditures of $18,899.72. And you can see the breakdown below that, for all the different, appropriation line item reports for that month.
Okay, and I reviewed it, it seems like it's all relatively
Administerial.
normal business. Okay, so Hope, you're up. What have you been doing?
Okay, since the last park board meeting, we've been having soccer practices on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays from 5:30 to 6:30. We had the senior social on Wednesday, April 12th with Jack Yager from VIPS there to present It was a very lively and engaging conversation. The seniors said that they enjoyed it very much. I had the bingo on Monday, April 17th, a webinar on ADA accessibility on April 18th, adult paint class on Thursday, April 20th, rain barrel pickup day on April 21st, the Chamber of Commerce Business Showcase on April 22nd, kids art class on Tuesday, April 25th. I met with Andrea Burkott on April 27th, and we spoke about the possibility of doing an intramural volleyball camp or clinic for 4th and 5th graders, and then seeing if there's any interest in a league. On April 29th, we had our first day of soccer games, and everything went smoothly. On May 1st, I had STEM Club. The upcoming programs are senior social tomorrow from 5 to 7 p.m., soccer games on Saturday, May 6th. Bingo will be on Monday, May 8th, and another social will be next week on Thursday, May 11th. Kids art class will be on May 16th. Adult paint class will be on May 18th, and soccer games on May 20th. Purdue Extension will do another class for us on Tuesday, May 23rd at the Lions Den Shelter. It is called the Stewardship of the Lake, and it is for all ages. Rebecca Ketz will explain what we can do to help the health of the lake. And then that's it for the next month.
Okay, so I will say, Facebook can tell you a lot of things, good, bad, or otherwise, with specific, commenting towards, soccer. I have seen nothing but happy kids. I've been driving past on my way to and from other places, and there's a lot of kids out here. It looks like it's going very well. It's pretty awesome. Miss Miller is even coaching this year, which God bless her. I filled in Saturday 2 weekends ago for my son's 12 and under league he plays, and I was voluntold that I was coaching, and that was an experience. So it's great to see. You're constantly putting out there what we're doing, and everyone looks happy. With regards to senior social, please let them know I won't be there tomorrow, and let Miss Heggie know that I appreciated her gift.
I will.
My stuffed mouse and coffee cup and all the other things. So, she's a sweetheart. As always, great work. You're doing fantastic. Thank you. All right, so project updates. I have a couple on my list. I guess it's project updates, and I guess in a roundabout way it addresses public or written comment. So for those that might actually watch this meeting, and for those that are here, Facebook is not the best way to get a hold of us. As much as I'm on there, I don't see on the Cedar Lake viewer discretion page everything Cedar Lake no politics, Cedar Lake buy sell trade, and every other Cedar Lake page that exists out there when people are complaining about stuff about parks. So I just want to kind of make it clear. So the project updates reflect the top 3 complaints that I've seen over the last month, because people tag me in them, and then I can't control myself and not respond to people. So I'm trying to be good at that, and I'm trying to be professional about that. So please understand that, So before I go that route, so we do have a town website. There is a link to get a hold of the park board and or Hope, and Melindo will be up there eventually. I'm going to talk to Cliff about adding and I know he's listening, there's a public works request on the website. I would like to see a parks request on that website for damage or things that we need to know about, whether it's trash cans are full or someone drew inappropriate things on the slide again or whatever. And if people put it through an official line of communication, we will do our best to address it. But again, and my wife is probably, no, she's not watching this, but if she was watching this, she'd laugh because I'm on Facebook all the time, but I still can't catch everything that comes from there. So we just ask that you please use the appropriate channels. We are listening, we are responsive, you know, we want you all happy. So project updates, number one, the dog park. Sarah and Paul are working on that. There has been equipment installed. Would we call it complete as far as the equipment installed?
The equipment is all in, yes. We need to get grass and making sure that it's as level as possible and there's no way for dogs to escape.
Okay.
That
So,
kind of thing.
so on the record, because there seems to be confusion, it's closed. It's not open yet. We elected to close it last year until it is a completed dog park.
It was never officially open, it
Right.
just wasn't locked.
It just wasn't locked. It's never been open, it just wasn't locked. We chose to put padlocks on it. There has been the suggestion of some signage to help alleviate the confusion. So until we're ready to go, maybe that's what we'll do, is we'll have Public Works create a sign that says it's closed, just so everyone's clear. Mindy and I had a conversation today regarding the dog park. Sarah and Paul are gonna be meeting with her to bring them up to speed, or her up to speed, what they've done to develop the policy, the ordinance, in collaboration with the attorney, so that when it is ready to be open, we're structured and we're ready to go. I promise you, for the amount of stuff I've seen on Facebook about the dog park, short of pyrotechnics and confetti cannons, we'll make a big deal out of it when it's open.
Who said we're not gonna have pyrotechnics?
I don't know, maybe we will, maybe we will, you never know. But it is closed. When it is open, we'll let everyone know. You know, I've been asked a lot of questions about what will we allow, what will the requirements, none of that has been structured. It's coming, but I have no answers. That's official, and that's the honest to God truth. We're working on it. So, again, the dog park's not open. A lot of people had interest in Bartlett Wahlberg's rope. So, there is new rope minus one section.
It's been ordered.
And it's been ordered. Our parks crew went out there and replaced the bulk of it. So, for those that have been inquiring about the rope, we got it. Almost.
Most of it.
Like that much left. And then the slide at Hanover Park. For the people that live in Hanover Park, there is a slide that took some damage. It has a very deep cut this way and a very deep cut this way. It has been ordered. Unfortunately, it will not be here till June or July. We asked if we could come get it because it's in Wisconsin, and even if we come get it, they want $250 for us to come get it. So by the time you factor in fuel, employee, it has to be an enclosed trailer. There's all these stipulations, and pay $250 to pick up your own part. So we're not doing that. The rep from that company will contact us if some reason they end up doing a delivery close by, we can work something out. So I have directed Mindy to come up with a creative way to close it, because the barricade and the police tape blowing in the wind was 1000% what I didn't want when we asked for it to get closed, so she's gonna come up with a cleaner way to close that section.
Actually, Dale, that's complete.
Is it?
Yeah, Mr.
See?
King updated me yesterday that he instructed and assisted the park maintenance crew, and one end has a stop sign that is now mounted into that, so nobody can access the top, and the bottom is also a mounted barricade that nobody can access entry from the bottom of the slide.
Perfect. See, efficient. You know, and the other thing is we were limited as to where we could get it from. It's a unique part to that set, to a unique company. There was no reaching out to another company. We could have probably found something that kind of matched, but we wanted it to actually look like it's supposed to. So, so that is Bartlett Wahlberg. So, what other projects? Or Hanover, sorry, yes, Hanover, thank you. That's Hanover Park. Other updates, we're working on the ability to clean the equipment and the pavilions that are, Mr. Kubiak is working on an assembly that will go in the back of the trucks, and they will have pressure washers and the abilities to clean. I spoke to Mindy about having like a clean-a-palooza where they hit everything, and then maybe with that reporting mechanism, if things get gross, people can let us know and we'll send a crew out to clean it up as needed. But that's long overdue, so, yeah, we're making progress. Anyone have any other projects they're working on that they have anything to discuss?
Not that we didn't talk about that, I think of.
Yeah.
It was announced at the council meeting, but it is it was programmed into the park impact fee schedule of uses. Founder's Creek Trail was funded by the Northwest Indiana Regional Planning Commission, NERC, through a federal grant, which is 80% federal funds, 20% local match, and that's scheduled for construction in 2028, with some engineering taking place in 2026. Although that could be moved up or back a year depending on NERC and their funding and how their budgets work. But that's currently where it's programmed into the NERC project.
Okay.
The NERC calendar.
Gonna be a while.
Cool. Okay, but it's...
It'll be here before you know it.
Yeah.
I can't wait to.
And that would be a paved trail? Or
Correct.
natural paved?
Yeah. Dave has been assisting in easement acquisition, so we're finalizing the easement acquisition, so that way when we get to engineering and construction, we're ready to hit the ground running.
Awesome. Always that's good news. That's good news.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and public comment. Do we have any public comment? Going once, twice? Okay. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll give a motion to adjourn.
Okay.
Second that.
Oh, wait.
Oh. Can
Did you
you?
vote? I don't know if I saw on
Oh,
your
the park
agenda.
board time.
The park board moving the park.
Oh, where did we miss that?
Yeah.
It's not on this.
I didn't see that
It's
one.
not on the
Yeah.
agenda.
It was on our original meeting minutes. Okay, so I guess I have to, that's weird, it was on the email one. You're right. Okay,
Withdraw motion, second.
yeah, withdraw the motion to adjourn.
I withdraw my motion to adjourn.
And I'll withdraw my second.
Okay, so item number 3 under new business is consideration for the park board, or, I'm sorry, yes, the park board meeting to, as of June, wasn't that the request?
Correct. The request is that we move the park board meeting, the days would stay the same, but we move the time up to a start time of 5:30. And you will have a hard stop at 7 o'clock, because that will be when the storm board meeting then will take place. So there's gonna be a kind of a shuffling of the calendars. I'm sorry to play musical dates with everybody, but we're just trying to get the town calendar for meeting events to a point to where Dave and myself can be at all of the meetings. That's what works best for the boards, the staff, and the council, the chamber availability. So yes, 5:30.
Sure.
First Thursday.
And like you and I had discussed, I was okay with that. We've already been moved twice. I'll
This is the third time.
I'll keep the day of the week, and we can move it up a half hour.
You had to cancel.
So,
Your staff will like you a lot.
I'm sure they will.
And that would, to take effect at,
The June
on
meeting.
June meeting.
Correct.
June meeting.
Correct. So, I am looking for a motion to approve the, park board meeting change to be 5:30 from June on the first Thursday of the month.
I'll motion to approve.
Okay, have a motion?
Second.
Okay, discussion? Okay, Hope?
Mr. Markort?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Ms. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Holsey?
Yes. Okay, now, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to.
Motion by Greg,
I'll second.
second by Paul. All right, meeting's adjourned. The next meeting will be June 1st at 5:30 PM.